quietly. Thank you very much. Have a seat at the 4 tables there. Plenty of seats for everyone.
That way I can.
All right, so have a seat at the tables.
Do we have to be at a side table?
No, but I might do a little bit of rearranging. If you could swap seats with you here, walk around. There you go. On Elizabeth, you okay up seat there? Thank you. And then we're going to have you to move over here to the yellow table. You knew already. Thank you very much. Excellent, 4th grade. Thank you for coming in calmly and quietly. My name is Miss Wiegand or Miss W, and again, I'll leave that up there for a few more weeks. I'm still learning your names, just as I'm sure you're learning mine, so I'll keep that up there. If you forget any time, feel free to just raise your hand and ask, and I'm happy to help you remember my name. So welcome back, 4B. Does anyone remember what we've been talking about in art last week? Yes. Lines. We've been talking about lines. We've been talking about lines and looking at them because lines are an element of art. That means we use lines in every work of art we make. So they're very important. I want you guys to have a good understanding of line. Talking about line. Does anyone remember some examples of lines that we were talking about? And could you come up to the board and draw them? Yes. Remember any? So chalk right up here. You can draw a line and tell us about it. Great. Mountain lines or jagged lines. Lines like sharp teeth. Excellent. Thank you. Another example of lines that we were talking about. Yes. Horizontal lines, great. Horizontal, running side to side, excellent job. Another kind of line we were reviewing. Yes. Okay. So thinking about different kinds of lines we were looking at. We drew some different examples. A curved line, excellent. So straight line, curved lines, jagged lines here, great. 3 more examples of different kinds of lines we were looking at. Yes. Different kinds of lines. We use different kinds of lines for different works, different pieces of art that we make. Great example. What would you call that? Like a wavy water line, jagged lines or mountain lines, horizontal lines that run side to side, curved lines here. Excellent. 2 more examples, 4th grade. What are some different kinds of lines you remember? Diagonal lines, great. Line that run corner to corner in either direction. Diagonal, horizontal lines here, wavy lines, jagged, curved. Excellent job here. 1 more example. Excellent job. What's that called? Starts with a V. Line that runs up and down. You want to call on someone for help?
Vertical.
Vertical lines, great. Vertical lines that run like a tree, up and down. Horizontal that run side to side there. Great job, 4th grade. So these were all different kinds of lines that we've been talking about and looking at. That'll lead us into our next project, which is looking at movement with lines. So we did a review. What is a line? A line is an element of art. We use lines in every work of art that we make. A line is a path made by a moving point, moving It lays flat on a piece of paper or flat on my chalkboard up here. It can vary. Lines can be different, vary. One way they can be different is in width. Does anyone remember what that word meant? Like a unit of measurement, the width. What did that mean? You come up and draw an example of width on the board. Great. So what is that? And show us a thin line. Excellent. So width meant how thick or thin a line could be. Thick or thin, the width. We talked about lines can vary in direction. Some examples we already drew. Diagonal lines, horizontal and vertical, curved lines that go in different directions. We also thought about lines that vary in length. What did that word mean? Length. Does anyone remember? Lines that vary in length. Do you remember? I'm going to draw an example on the board. Can you tell us? Long and a short line. Great. So length, long, medium, or short. Long, medium, or short. Length. So width, how thick or thin. Different directions here. And length, long, medium, short. These are words you want to be reviewing and thinking about because that's going to help us for the next part of our project. We did our 8-line worksheet where we did different kinds of lines using crayon and colored pencil and marker as a practice. You can always look at those. We drew seashells or leaves using lines. Those are hanging up in the hallway. Again, ways that you can use lines in every work of art. For our next project, we're talking about showing movement with lines. I have some examples to look at. Can anyone raise their hand and tell me what this is a picture of? Yes. Tornado. What are some other names for this? I've heard lots of names. Yes. A twister. What else might you call this? You have an idea what you might call that? Tornado or twister? What are some other names? My family calls these a hurricane, that's one. My family calls these dust devils. I have lots of family who live in Kansas where it's very flat. They have lots of fields where they grow grain or wheat where it's very flat. And a dust devil, like a tornado or a twister, it comes through in the field, it collects all of the loose dirt, and it gets pulled in like a funnel, thick to thin, up to the sky. So a dust devil. Looking at this picture, we know that it's a picture. It's a moment in time. But looking at it, can you tell that this was moving when the picture was taken? Thumbs up if you say yes. I know that that was moving when the picture was taken. Thumbs down if you disagree. Excellent. I see almost everyone with their thumb up. You're telling me, 4th grade, that yes, I see that there is movement in this picture. Here's my question for you. What are some ways, girls, that you can show and tell me about the movement in this picture? What are some clues that you see in this picture that tell us there's movement happening? Yes. You can walk up there and point if you need to help explain it like that a little bit, or just from your seat. What are some clues you get from this picture?
When they're taking a picture,
It's kind of blurry. So where do you see blurry happening here?
on the sides.
Excellent. So on the sides, maybe where the loose dust is being pulled to the center where it's concentrated, it looks a little bit blurry here. Often, blurry images help us think about movement. That's something our eyes recognize as movement. Great. What are some other clues that this picture shows us that we know there's movement happening?
You can see it like you can kind of like, you can see it going like this way.
Excellent. So you can see some of the curves of the dust lines in here. You can feel the movement through the curves. Maybe you can also imagine the spinning motion happening, hauling the dirt up as it goes. So you could think about curved lines to show the movement here. Maybe some spirals or twisted lines to show the movement in the picture here. Great job. Let's look at another example. Can anyone tell me what this is a picture of? Yes, a shooting star. Same question for you, 4th grade. What are some clues that this picture gives you to tell you that this is showing movement? What are some things in this picture to help us know that we see movement here? Yes. Yep.
It's going out.
Excellent. So what do you see that tells you that?
That it had to start here because you can see the line.
Great. You can see the line of travel, the path of movement. Just like a line is made with a path of a moving point, you can see the path, the moving point of the shooting star. We can follow that line with our eyes directly, diagonally, from corner down, where it's darker to light, where the star is now. We can follow that shooting line of the star, showing that movement there. Great. What is this a picture of? Yes.
A waterfall?
A waterfall. Again, in the name, I hear movement. Water, fall. I can think about the water falling, coming down to the different tiers and pooling in the river below. The water falling. I can follow these vertical lines up and down with my eyes that help me see the movement of the water. You have some more diagonal lines here as the water runs off. I see vertical lines up and down of the water falling. I can see that movement in this picture. This one is a little bit more tricky. This is a picture of snowflakes. When I look at this picture, I think about maybe you're in West Lebanon where it's really bright, there's lots of lights. And if it's snowing outside, the snowflakes are lit up by the lights. And thinking about the snowflake falling from the sky. How would you show that? Could you draw lines to show the movement of those snowflakes? Maybe slowly coming down? Thinking about ways that we could illustrate that, showing movement with lines. Does anyone know who this is?
Usain Bolt.
Usain Bolt from the Summer Olympics that were in Brazil. And what is he doing in this picture here?
He's running.
He's running. So even in his actions, we know there's movement happening here. What are some clues in this picture that we see movement? What tells you about the movement in this picture here? Yes. It's blurry. So just like in the previous picture, the audience here is blurry. There's horizontal lines of movement. As he's traveling away, the background is blurry. This is telling our eye there's movement happening here. Also, in the way he's standing, I see movement. He's ready to run. His legs are apart, his arms are out. He's ready to pull himself forward, to move, to show that movement. His body tells us the movement. The lines and the blurred background show us movement. A lot of kids said, it looks like his feet are on fire. I'm sure that's because maybe his shoes matched his outfit, but also because this is also blurry. His feet are moving so fast, it creates a blurred image with the camera, showing us that movement, telling us about it there. As we think about that movement, we're going to move on to a project similar to this, illustrating movement using different kinds of lines that we've been practicing. Here they chose one figure cut out of black paper, and they illustrated it with lines of movement. Maybe this is a superhero flying through the sky, weaving between the buildings, and you can feel his movement, following the curved lines, the spirals. They use different kinds of lines to show us the movement in this picture here. Maybe it's someone diving into a pool, and you can feel the movement of the water as he dives in, illustrating that movement with lines. This is like the shooting star picture that we looked at. I can see the star shooting, moving from the corner up diagonally. I could follow the thin line of movement or the thick line here. They use different shapes, different kinds of lines to illustrate that movement. This one is just like the picture of Usain Bolt running. The figure's body is in the same position. That helps us see movement, right? His legs are apart, arms are out. We can feel the movement here. Maybe the jagged lines are like his footsteps as he's running. They use spirals and jagged lines, curved lines and dashed lines, different kinds of lines to show that movement. What is this one a picture of? Yeah, a jet or an airplane. Maybe if you're laying on your back in a field, airplane went over your head, and you can feel the movement of that figure traveling across there. This is the last one for you. Maybe this guy has magical powers, and as he's standing up here, he's releasing them. You can feel that movement coming outward. The shape, the figure that they chose to cut out, helps us show the movement with his arms out, and they use the lines to emphasize that movement. That's what we're going to be starting on today. This is our checklist, our schedule of what we need to get through to complete our project. First, you're going to sketch your idea in pencil. A sketch, that's just a simple drawing to show me you have an idea, you have a clean layout, and you've thought about what you'd like. When you do your sketch, I need to see one figure, one idea of what you'd like to be showing the movement of. For my example, I chose a leaf. Like it's fall right now, fall foliage. Leaves are falling out of the trees, right? So I have my leaf here, one figure, one idea that you want to cut out of black paper, and 8, at least 8, maybe more if you'd like to, different kinds of lines to show that movement. So I have thick lines, thin lines, curved lines, swirly lines, one figure with different kinds of lines to show that movement. So you're going to sketch your idea in pencil first, showing me 8 different kinds of lines and that you have a sense of what you're going to cut out. Then check in with me. I'm going to ask you to show me your 8 different kinds of lines and that you have an idea of what you want to cut out. From there, I will give you the final piece of paper, which is just a little bit bigger. And you're going to be copying those same lines over, getting a nice, neat layout on here. Drawn out, organized, and clean. Name and class code on that. From there, I'll give you the black construction paper to cut out and glue your figure on, okay? From there, I'll give you the black marker to go over your pencil lines to emphasize them, and pastel color to add at the very end. We might only get to the sketch today, and that's fine. We'll have plenty of time to complete it next class, all right? Sketching is where I expect you to be at the end of the day today, with an idea for your figure that you're going to cut out, and showing me 8 different kinds of lines here. I have an example from the other 4th grade to show you to help you get another idea. This is Eve from the other 4th grade. She did a little ghost. It's Halloween. Great idea. So first she did her sketch. Just a simple pencil drawing showing me that you have an idea, you have 8 different kinds of lines, and a sense of the layout. From there, I gave her the final piece. She drew her same lines in, copying it right over, just with pencil. She cut out her figure with black construction paper. Next class, when she comes back, she'll go over her lines with black marker and add pastel for color. But the sketch, 8 different kinds of lines, an idea for your figure is where you should be for today. Any questions? No questions? If you think of them, raise your hand and ask. I'll leave the checklist up here for you as well. If you want to see any of the examples, we could go back to look at those also. Do you boys have questions? All right. Could I have 2 volunteers, please? Great. 1 pencil for everyone, 1 piece of paper for everyone. Name and class code on this, and then go ahead and get started. Sketching your idea, thinking about what you're going to be cutting out, drawing 8 different kinds of lines to show movement. Okay? Name and class code on these. Okay, go.
I love it.
So go ahead and get started as soon as you get your paper and a pencil. You need a different
Everybody
That's fine. There's erasers on the black table.
Everybody have a piece of paper.
You already do? That's great. Eraser here if you need them. Extra paper? Thank you. Thank you. You don't have to. You can use these as a tracer if you're looking for an idea. But you can do anything. A leaf, a ghost, an astronaut, a dog. These are all examples from some other classes. A car, a snowflake, a soccer ball, different ideas you're thinking about. A bat, that's a fun idea. Again, going with Halloween, a bat in the sky. I can think of lots of ways to show the movement through line there.
Tractor.
You could do a tractor. Sure. Chugging along. You could think of some fun lines to illustrate that. So you need at least 8 different kinds of lines of movement on this. Excellent. A bat, a football, a tractor. These are some great ideas.
Just a sketch.
If you do the